Welcome back, everyone. I'm so excited for you to hear from Clair Gordon of Dragonfly Gift Baskets, and she will be talking about going from being a student to entrepreneurship. So stay tuned for more. Welcome. I'm Milena Radakovic, and this is We Do Pay It Forward. Welcome back to We Do Pay It Forward. I am so excited to introduce you to my next guest, Clair Gordon of Dragonfly Gift Baskets. Clair, thank you so much for being here. We're so excited. Tell us a little bit about your business.
So Dragonfly Gift Baskets is a gift basket business. We do a lot of corporate gifts. Our main focus are home builders in Calgary and realtors. So we do lots of possession gifts, move-in gifts. That's how the business was started about 28 years ago. And I took it over about 20 years ago and have kind of carried on from there.
Fantastic. So you guys, this is going to be an amazing story. Claire bought the business when she graduated as a student. So why don't you tell us about what happened? Like, what did you graduate with and how did you become an entrepreneur?
So I graduated, I worked at Dragonfly through university. It was a business of one of my mom's friends. Okay. She started it. She saw a need for possession gifts for builders. Her husband was in the building industry. She saw a need, so she started it that way. I worked for her at her business, and then it was a retail store that she had with gift baskets. I worked there through university. When I would come home from, for summers, from being away from university, I would work there. Mm-hmm. Then when I was looking to graduate with my marketing degree, I was kind of looking for a real job. Mm-hmm. And at that same time, the lady that owned Dragonfly was looking to sell her business. So I just kind of thought one day, talked about it with my dad, and he just thought, why isn't this your path? So I didn't give it a whole lot of thought, to be honest. I just kind of jumped at it. It was something that I knew because I was familiar with it. I could use my business skills in it, and I just went for it.
I love it. I love that. It's a great story, especially we have a lot of people in our audience who are students or entrepreneurs thinking of, how do I get into it? So tell us about the steps from when you said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy the company, to you owning it. And that's like 20 years later. So tell us about that initial, because women have a tendency to be not risk takers. Yes. So that's a lot, especially being a student. So tell us a little bit about that.
I think some of it probably I was naive and I was young. I didn't give it as much thought as maybe when you're older and you know how tough it actually is, and how it's being an entrepreneur is awesome, and I wouldn't give it up for the world. I've had so much freedom in my schedule with my kids as I grew, but it's a lot of work. And so I think I was a little bit naive, but I had the support of my family. Jane, the lady that I bought the business from, I had her support. I worked with her. We worked out a plan that was not too overwhelming, so it was like a 5-year buyout, and I kind of could buy in over time, and she was there to support me through it, so it wasn't just all of a sudden mine. So I think kind of setting yourself up for success in the ways that having support around you, having a plan of how it's going to look, because taking something over can be very overwhelming if you do it all at once.
Right.
So I think that's kind of how that happened. And then after the 5 years, you feel really comfortable and confident that you can do it because you've had somebody kind of show you the ropes and lead you there, so you aren't just feeling like you've jumped in. I also had help financially from a family member who helped me with a business loan because that was also difficult. Yes. But Jane did work with me on that so that it was, again, manageable, little chunks over time rather than a whole upfront kind of cost. So I guess the advice would be just to try and find a plan, somebody to support you, or like a people around you to support you, because it's a big undertaking for sure.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a really good steps in. I personally did something very similar. My company, Nexus Exhibits, I was a client who became an employee, who became an owner.
Right.
And I too had a 5-year 5-year plan to own it completely. My structure was a little bit different. I actually bought it right outright.
Okay. Yeah.
But I had half of it paid up front, and the rest was financed over 5 years.
Right.
So that is a really good opportunity for people who are listening here, that if there's a business that you're looking to purchase, try to work with the owner.
Yes.
And that way they could get them to stay on for a little bit,
Yep.
do the proper training, and then the handoff, and then you feel more comfortable that you can just
There's no
grow.
way at 23 or whatever I would have been able to jump in all on my own. I don't think I would have had. Would have been too scary. So this, was definitely an option that I guess I probably wouldn't have known had Jane not worked with me. My dad gave me the ideas of kind of working out a plan over the 5 years, putting in some sweat equity, not having to have cash all up front, all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Fantastic. So over the 20 years, what's a really good learning that when you look back, that there might have been a hurdle that you went through that our audience can say, oh, I'm glad that I just heard this, because then I don't have to do this myself?
I think, when I bought the business, it had a retail store, and I ran it as such for about 6 to 8 months. And then I quickly realized that my corporate business was kind of subsidizing my retail rent, and I didn't really need it. So I think not being afraid to make a change. This was an established business and it was working for Jane, but I just kind of looked at it differently. Like, I don't know if this is working for me or for the business anymore. So not being afraid to make changes, is probably a big thing. And I changed based on what worked for me and my lifestyle. Having a retail store meant you had to staff it certain hours and all that kind of stuff, whereas I wanted more flexibility. So having a warehouse space where you could go in and out at different hours, that worked with my schedule. So I think being, open to change, it doesn't necessarily, the way you bought it has to be the business that gets run forever. You can make it your own. I think that was really helpful to know. And then, I think just honestly, entrepreneurship is a wild ride, and I think it would have been beneficial to know there's going to be lots of highs, lots of lows. Just hang on, create a support system around you. Entrepreneurship can sometimes feel isolating, it can feel overwhelming, but if you have the right kind of support around you, and a good outlook, like this kind of will pass, or let's work to make this different, or whatever. It's a pretty awesome ride, and you can create your own kind of destiny with it, because I've been able to be at home with my children and do all this flexible these things while still maintaining my own business, my own time, my own, stuff. So yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I loved and I created WEDO Foundation, because like for our summits on November 19th this year will be our 5-year anniversary. And it was so incredible when we gather all the different women entrepreneurs, women business leaders together, and like you said, the support system, and giving them the opportunity to collaborate and learn from each other. It makes a world of difference.
It makes a huge difference. Yeah, I have a friend who has a business in Victoria, BC, and we talk almost every day about our business and just the ups and downs, and cheering you on and being there to listen, because it can be, like I said, isolating and scary if you're doing it on your own. So I think for anybody looking to do it, that would be my honestly number one, is make sure you have some good support around you, some good networks, some other people to lift you up, to listen to you, to even if they're not in your industry, just somebody that knows what it's like, to do it on your own. And you don't ever get to really 100% turn off when you're an entrepreneur. You have to always be thinking about your business and thinking about what's next. So having somebody to kind of bounce ideas off of stuff as well it's very helpful, especially if you're on a small team, or you are the one on the team. So yeah. No,
that's a really good point. I remember when I was looking at acquiring the business, I had a great mentor, and the one thing that she did say is that when you do acquire, because she said not if, but when you do acquire, get that network. So she said look at either EO, Entrepreneurs Organization, or YPO, Young Presidents Organization. It's really important to have that network that's like your advisory board that's there for you. And I've been a member of EO now for over 10 years, and I just count on my advisory board. I have these 7 amazing men in my advisory board that have helped me in everything. Like it's not, and like you said, it's not just on the business side. It's business, it's family, it's in personal, right?
Yeah.
It's all three. They all go together.
They do. Yeah. So
Thank you so much for your time. Where can somebody reach out to you when they want to know more about you and your business?
Okay, awesome. Thank you for having me. So you can, probably the easiest way is email, Claire@dragonflygiftbaskets.com. Our website is just dragonflygiftbaskets.com. And we're also on Instagram, Dragonfly Gift Baskets.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Claire, for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thanks
I
for having
appreciate
me.
it. Bye for now. And thank you to our sponsor, Leela Ahir, of Paying It Forward for the next generation of women entrepreneurs and business leaders. If you are inspired and want to join the WEDO community, then go to WEDOCanada.com and sponsor and nominate the next inspiring woman entrepreneur.